So do you want to learn programming? And that too, fastest growing language, which is Python. Welcome to Harsha Trainings. In this video, we are going to learn fundamentals of Python. In this video, we have covered basics, syntax, and concept. So let us move on to first session.
Now it's start the complete section. I think already you know the demo concepts and the basic things already know. So again from the beginning, I will start the complete section. So remember the thing, the only two important things you have to remember is only little concentration on the theoretical and more concentration on practicals. So programming point of view, we will discuss more. In the simple sense, suppose these are the fundamentals, what is operator, what is a data type, what is a keyword, all those are basic terms. So we will complete the basic terms a little bit faster. And then we will slow on the programming. Okay, starts from this one. Again, there is a demo, again, each and everything is not at all required. Directly, if you know for this today's session, you will understand what is we are going to discuss in under Python programming. Okay. So these are the fundamentals. So under these fundamentals, that is before going to the language, first of all, we have to know who invented the language, at which year they are inventing. So generally, everyone knows C language. Whenever anybody asks the question, who invented C language, then it's reached in the year 1972. Why? Because C is the starting language. So everyone knows C language. But coming to other languages, we don't know. That is Java, Python. And remember one important thing, we already discussed in the first session. Java is invented, that is developed in the year 1995. Python is invented in the year 1991. One second. So parallel గా మీ ప్రాజెక్ట్ చూడండి వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను రాస్తాను. So right. So see this one, Python is, these are the basic things. The Python is a general purpose high level programming language. What do you mean by this high level? Generally we have three levels of programming. What are the three levels? If anyone know? Remember the three levels of programming are, one is the mission level, second one is assembly level, third one is high level. Mission level is the sense the language that is understandable by the computer. For example, if you have a C program, we are writing addition of two numbers. The program is saved as add.c. So this add.c is called source program. Once you perform compilation and execution, it gives the .obj file and then .exe file. These two are the files that is understandable by the mission only. That is mission level language, and assembly language in the sense that is understandable by the assembler. Remember, both mission language and assembly language almost similar. The only difference is, for example, I know only Telugu language. Suppose you know only English language. So how can you understand my Telugu to English? No, Telugu to English, we require a translator. Suppose coming to mission language, this is my computer. To perform addition of two numbers, what is the symbol we are using? Plus. So mission in the sense, each and everything is in a binary format. That is the basic thing. Binary in the sense zeros and ones. Remember, for this mission, plus has a binary code of assume 101. Suppose coming to system number 1, plus has a binary code of 1000. System number 2, binary code of 10001111 and so on. That is what is my intention. Depending upon the system, the binary value of plus is changed. That means, for example, if you want to perform addition of two numbers in this system, you have to know this is the meaning of the plus. Another system, you have to know that is the code of the plus. That is mission dependent. You will listen the word mission dependent. The code is mission dependent, and remembering all these instructions related to each and every mission is a highly impossible task. To overcome that one, we are using assembly language. I think you listen the word microprocessors. So that is assembly language. In this assembly language, instead of remembering the binary code, we are using mnemonics. What do you mean by mnemonic? Suppose to perform addition between a comma b, we are writing the statement like this: add space a comma b. Whatever the system, suppose system 1, system 2, system 3, whatever the system, simply by using the mnemonic add, we are performing addition between the numbers. Remember, compared to binary, this assembly is somewhat better. 100%, right? Compared to binary, assembly is somewhat better. But again, remembering all these mnemonics, more again, it is very difficult task. Why? For addition, subtraction, multiplication, we have not only addition, subtraction, multiplication, we have lakhs of operations. Remembering all these mnemonics is a very difficult task. To overcome that problem, we are moving into high level language. This is the thing not only for Python. Right now, what I said is that is not only for Python, for any programming language, high level in the sense that is in the terms of user, that is English language. For example, I have write a statement, printf. So by observing, by meaning the statement, okay, printf purpose is to print some value. Each and every statement is easily understandable by the user. So Python is also a high level programming language. Now, so he is the scientist name. No need to remember the scientist name. Here, the thing is just for introduction purpose, I am showing this slide. So the scientist name and started working in the year 1989 at the National Research Institute at Netherlands. Suppose by moving on, and finally, Python is developed in the year 1991. Remember, Python is the first language before Java. Python is the first one before Java. And see this one. Python is recommended as the first programming language for beginners. Why? Actually, up to now, we assume that C is the first language. Why? What is the meaning of this one? This is completely a contradictory statement. But why in a sense? Python have limited syntaxes. It is very easy to use. Generally, we have two things. One is a small thing, one is a very complex one. Which one we do first? Automatically small thing. That is the reason Python, the code is written in a limited number of lines. It reduces the memory space. It performs the easy to usage based on the reasons. The Python is the most simple language. That is the reason once you know the Python, then it is very easy to move to other languages. That is this statement meaning. So I think all these are not at all important things. So these are the basic fundamentals. So I think we already discussed this example. Once again, I will discuss this example. Why? Because from today onwards, we will start the complete session. So again, we will discuss this example. What is this one? My program is simply to print some hello message. To print some hello message. That is hello world. Here we have three languages: Java, C, and Python. First coming to Java language. In this, I think everyone know procedure oriented programming, object oriented programming. Even though you don't know, no problem. I will explain both the things. In C language is the procedure oriented language. In this, everything is related to functions. Everything is related to functions. Coming to Java, Java is object oriented programming language. Here everything is related to object. Remember the two difference. One is related to function, another thing is related to object. Among these two, which one is the better? Obviously, object oriented programming is the better one. Generally, no. Suppose in object oriented, what to do? Everything must and should be written inside a class. Each and every statement. Without class, it is not possible to write a single statement. Every statement must and should be written inside a class. So this is the syntax. If you know Java, okay. If you don't know Java, then not a problem. So here my intention is to count the number of lines to find out the difficulty. Suppose in Java, first you have to declare the class and you have to declare the main. This is the syntax for main. And then by using system.out.println, I am printing the hello world message. Coming to C programming, we are including the header files, and then main, within the main we are printing the message. But the last and final one, coming to Python, simply by writing the statement print hello world, the hello world is printed. Observe the difference among these three. This only difference is the use of Python, that is, it reduces the number of lines, it reduces the number of syntax remembering statements. So no need to remember class, no need to remember system.out.println, no need to remember main. Simply, if you remember print, automatically it prints the message. Automatically it prints the message. Okay. So I think I am moving a little bit fast. I think you also observe why I am moving fast in the sense these are the very basic scenarios. Our intention is we have to do projects. That means we have to do programs. That is the reason for these theoretical aspects I am doing a bit faster. Now, from now I am moving somewhat slower for this session. Clearly speaking, approximately for 2 to 3 sessions I am very slow right now. But after that, if it is a theoretical concept, move fast. If it is a programming, daily do 1, 2 or 3 depending on the level of complexity. Now, so the scientists developed the Python language by taking almost all programming features from different languages. That means for inventing Python, that is for developing Python, they are considering some different programming languages. What are the programming languages? C, C++, Perl, and Modular 3. These are the programming languages. For example, from C language, they inherit functional programming. In the previously discussed, C is a procedure oriented. So in procedure oriented, our main concentration is on function. Just now we discussed it. So that function programming concept is inherited from C. Now, C++ contains object oriented. Even Java is also object oriented. So that object oriented features are inherited from C++. Now, scripting. I think you know the scripting languages, even though you don't know how to program, but you listen the scripting languages. Suppose the PHP, shell script, Perl are the scripting languages. So for simple example, HTML, XML. Actually, HTML, I think HTML for creating a website. So XML, JavaScript, these are the scripting languages from. So we are learning the futures of scripting language futures, modular programming futures from Modular 3. Actually, the Modular 3 is doesn't use nowadays. So this modular programming, what do you mean by modular? Remember, the modular meaning is if the program size is very large. Instead of considering the entire program, I am dividing my program into multiple parts. In the simple sense, suppose this is the institute. For example, we have total 5 batches. For example, 6:30 to 7:30, 5 batches at a time. One batch is for Python, another one is Java, another for C, and so on. If there is no partition, how do we provide the classes? I think you got the point. Suppose this is class number 6, that is class number 5, that is class number 4. 4, 5, 6 different partitions, in the sense different modules. So then what is the advantage? The advantage is very easy. For example, all are belong to mechanical. Assume all are belong to mechanical. In your college, a total of six sections for mechanical. If all the 6 sections, 1 to 240 members are sit in a single room, it is very difficult to handle the 240 students. So based on that reason only, they are divided into 60, 60, 60. For example, whenever I need student number X, simply I go to section 1, find out the X. So what is the advantage? It is very easy to perform an action, that is either accessing or updation, whatever it is. So these are the from different languages we are accessing different features. I think so. These are the basic things. Now, originally coming to Python. From now onwards, we are entering into Python. Okay, where can we use Python? That means applications. In the simple sense, in A to Z, each and every application we are using Python. So step by step, see this one, different applications for developing desktop application. What do you mean by desktop application? Suppose you are installing some software in a system. You are installing software, for example, whatever the software, daemon, billing software. So the billing software is related installed in a particular system. Not desktop in the sense, not only desktop, laptop also. Simply a software that is related to a system, a particular system. Next, for developing web applications. What do you mean by web application? simply X. For creating a website, Facebook is a website, Twitter is a website, Gmail is a website, or you are searching different website. Book My Show is a website, E-Train, that is IRCT is a website, APSRTC, TSRTC website. So for developing web applications also, this Python programming is used. Database applications. What do you mean by database? Collection of data. So give any one example database. For example, simple sense, in your college, your complete information is maintained by your department HOD. So your department HOD has a database that consists of all the information related to the students. So simply Oracle database, SQLite database, MongoDB database. These are the different databases. That means how to store information into database, how to retrieve information from the database. What is our intention? To store the information and to retrieve the information to perform updation operation. That is, in the simple scenario, I have a database which consists of a total of 60 students. A total of 60 students. For example, whenever I need to update, for example, your phone number is 129. Suppose if you are modifying your phone number, then what to do? Simply access your roll number and perform update operation. For all these operations are implemented by using Python. For network programming, what do you mean by network programming? What do you mean by network programming? Very simple sense. Network in the sense connection among different systems. For example, right now we have some computer through some internet. For example, the internet is connected to more than one system, or in the simple sense Wi-Fi hotspot. The Wi-Fi is connected to more than one system, that is wireless. Suppose if you are using wire, that is wired network. Whatever it is, if you want to connect to more than one system. So suppose you think that simply connecting a cable, how the net is coming? Got the logic? Suppose whenever we are connecting a cable, how the internet is coming? Suppose whenever you are connecting a hotspot, how the hotspot is on? For that also we have to implement some software. For each and everything we have to implement software. So that is, for example, fan. Actually inbuilt, that is an embedded system. I think you know the meaning, embedded systems. A software is inbuilt in hardware. Originally it looks like hardware, but internally it has some software, that is the chips are connected by using some mechanism, that is called embedded system. So like this also we are using. So the next one is very simple for developing games. Actually Java games are more popular. Java, for example, if you are using some gaming, first the screen is opening Java. I think you see this one. So later on, whenever Python comes into existence, Java, instead of Java program, they are converted the Java into Python. Only simple reason is because of simplicity only. The only thing is because of simplicity. Compared to security purpose, compared to Python, Java provides also the same security. Generally, for internet applications, for internet applications, Java is the most suitable language. It provides high security. But coming to this one, it also provides the same level of security, but with the simplicity. That is the reason we are moving with the program. And the remaining things for data analysis. Data analysis in the sense nowadays we listen the word data scientist, that is data science job. Data analytics. What is mean by this data science and data analytics? Actually, one simple point, why you are learning Python? For getting a job. 99% for getting a job and for doing the projects. Suppose if your field is Python, in the future, if your software field is a Python. So in Python, once you know the Python language, generally we have three things. One is data science, another one is machine learning, another one is artificial intelligence, and then extension. Extension in the sense deep learning and so on. For example, what is you mean by machine learning? Actually, not only Python, you have to know remaining things also. What do you mean by machine learning? Machine understand the language. Exactly. How the machine understand the language? So, by no. By cameras and speakers, that is another thing. Here we have to speak in terms of software. So, one simple thing, for example, How can you, for example, consider an example dog. Consider an example dog. I am the mission. Suppose you said that this is dog. How can you predict that one this is a dog? So based on suppose the dog shape of the dog, tail, eyes, based on this one. For example, this is dog one. I think you know different breeds of dog. One dog is completely different from other dog. Suppose you shows the second one, and again you fix me. Okay, this is also dog. Third one, this is also dog. Suppose you train me by seeing 100 examples. So okay, next you show one more dog based on the prediction. So you already learned, okay, these are the futures. Based on these futures, I predict that this is a dog. And not only dog, very simple example. Suppose you have some disease, or I have some disease. Whenever I went to hospital, for example, the disease is some heart attack. Simple example. How can a doctor knows whether the person got heart attack or not? Exactly, based on symptoms. How can he predict the symptoms? Pulse rate, some ECG or TMT test, angiogram test. Remember, all these are futures. All these futures are led by the doctor. So doctor is a mission. For example, whenever ECG, assume ECG is a straight line. So he thinks that he has some heart attack. ECG is up and down. He has not a heart attack. That means mission in the sense we are preparing by giving some training examples, and a model is prepared based on the model. Whenever I am given some input, that is called testing. That is called testing. Suppose if the testing accuracy is good, our algorithm is very fine. That means entire data is divided into training data and then testing data. Why I am specifying this thing in the sense, you have to do the projects in machine learning in the future. Whenever you are going to a software, you have to do the projects in machine learning. So if you don't know the concept of machine learning, how do you do the project? Or other else, instead of all these worst examples, I am given only one simple example. For example, consider your Gmail. Whenever you are opening in Gmail, at the top, what are the three fields? Primary, promotions, social. I think now, for example, if you got a message from Amazon, whether the message is comes into either social or promotion other than primary. Suppose if I send a mail to you, compulsory that mail is reached to primary. How? That is machine learning based on the keywords of the message. Based on the keywords. You got my point? For example, suppose that if a message contains the keyword like this, offer. So offer in the sense that is almost equal to promotion. If IRCTC, some fixed words, that is the machine learning. Now in all these data analysis, machine learning and artificial intelligence, IoT devices, simple sense in A to Z, all the applications we are using machine learning. Even scientists also for developing the rockets, NASA applications also they are using machine learning. That is the reason the machine learning becomes the most popular language. Now, these are the features of Python. So we will discuss each and every feature in detail. So first one, I think by seeing the features, easily understand. Simple and easy to learn. So no need to explain. Simple and easy to learn in the sense, it contains less number of statements and it contains very less number of syntaxes. So that is the reason it is very simple to learn the Python programming, and it is very easy. Free. So the first point is very simple one. By seeing the first example, Java, C++, Python, C. By seeing that example, simple and easy, future is accepted. What is mean by freeware and open source? No, freeware and open source in the sense they are the freely available softwares in the internet. For example, Windows operating system. Windows operating system is free or paid? 100% paid. Linux operating system, free. Actually, Linux, Red Hat Linux, all the Linux operating systems are free software. For example, not only this one, you have different type of applications. For example, simple application. Suppose your faculty go attendance by using different softwares, EZ School. I think different softwares. So EZ School, assume EZ School is a paid software. In a similar fashion, one more software is available in the internet with free of cost. If a software is available with free of cost, those softwares are called freeware and open source. that is used by any person, simply not only using that one. If you do simple customization, what do you mean by customization? That is, the software is given to you. If you can do any modifications according to your wish. For example, they are given inbuilt software. Suppose if the title name is changed, for example, they are given the title name as AVC. Now I am changing my title name into Harsha Trainings. That is called customization. So software is really available, and once you know the customization, then it is very easy to use. Remember, generally no need to buy a software. Any software is available. 99% all these softwares is available with free of cost. The only thing you have to do is customization. That is the only thing. Now the third one is, we already know, high level programming language. No need to one. Platform independent. What do you mean by this platform independent? Suppose in this system I am writing a Python program. The same Python program is runs on another system without any modification. This is called platform. That is why I am setting this point in the sense, the starting plus is the symbol. Suppose in one mission the plus has binary 101. In another system plus has the binary 1110. In another system, that is depends on the system. That depends on the system. That means that is mission dependent. This Python and Java are mission independent. The mission independent in the sense, we can write in one mission and can run on any mission. Simply copy the file and run on a mission without any modification. Remember, if you do any modification in the sense, that is not by independent. If you are doing without any modification, that is called independent. Portability, almost the same meaning. What is mean by portability? Portability in the sense, moving from one system to another system in an easy manner. That means a platform independent and portability comes together. So platform independent in the sense, even though we are moving from one system to another system, there is no problem, it will execute. Portability in the sense, it is very easy to move from one system to another system. No need to pick all the header files. Why it is a problem is, for example, in C language, you have to move the header file also. But in Python, there is no header file, so no need to move the header files like this. It is very easy to move. Now, all these are available in Java also. Everything is available in Java. The only important point is the sixth one. This is the 99.9%. This is the only additional point in Python. And the most important point is dynamically typed. So we have two types. One is automatically dynamic in the sense, what is the other one? Static. Only two terms, if we have static and dynamic. Static in the sense, for example, coming to see any other language other than Python. If you want to use a variable A of integer data type, what is the first thing? 100% you have to declare the variable int A. You have to declare the variable int space A. So after that you have to use. Now what is the type of the variable? A is integer. Suppose int A, in the future I am writing A is equal to 3.5. Is it possible? So ignore the type conversions and type casting. Generally it is possible? No. Why? Because A is an integer variable, but for an integer variable I am assigning a string. Sorry, I am assigning a floating. Or for an integer variable, if you are assigning a string, so that is not possible. So what is mean by static type in the sense, before usage of a variable, first we have to declare the variable and assign the value of such type of variable only. Assign the value of that variable only. But coming to dynamically typed, what do you mean by dynamically typed? No need to declare the variable. Dynamic in the sense, whenever you require, simply you can use the variable. Suppose during the program I am required a variable, A is equal to 5. Automatically a variable is created. What is the type of the variable? The type of the variable is, this depends on the data type of the value. Suppose in the program I am writing A is equal to 5. A is an integer variable. Suppose a is equal to 5.4, a becomes a float variable, a is equal to hello, a becomes a string variable. No need to declare anything. Based on the value we are assigning, it becomes that particular data type. No need to remember. We discussed this one in the programming. Okay. So actually the main problem is today we are not getting the pen and pad, the writing pad. So from tomorrow onwards, everything is available. The writing pad is also parallelly. I will show how it happens. Okay. Now interpreted. What do you mean by this interpreted? So sorry, before one, seventh one. Both the procedure and object. So C is the procedure oriented. C++ Java is object oriented. In the previous slide, we discussed Python is inherited the procedure oriented from the C, object oriented from C++. That is the reason Python is both procedure and object. That is, without classes, we can write the program. With the classes also, we can write the same program. That is, you can use both classes and without classes. With the classes, object oriented. With the classes, object oriented. Without classes, procedure oriented. Okay. So C is function oriented. Function in the sense of procedure. Function and procedure both are same. C is procedure oriented without any class. C++ is object. So ignore C++. We are directly moving to Java. So Java is object oriented. That means in object oriented 100%, not 100%, 200%, everything must and should be written inside a class, and everything must and should be accessed by using object only. Okay, no problem. These two concepts comes to our thing. Both procedure oriented and object oriented, both the concepts are covered in the later sessions. Whenever we are moving, we will cover. And eighth one, interpreted. So before interpreted, first I will explain ninth one, simple one, extensible. What do you mean by extensible? Simply we can extend. Suppose today I am writing only 5 lines of program. Suppose if tomorrow you want to add more functionality. That is, today my programming is only addition of 2 numbers. So I am writing simply C is equal to A plus B. After some time you need some subtraction also. You can write D is equal to A minus B. That is, once a program completed, in the sense it is not possible to modify. No, even once a program is completed, even though after completion we can modify the program. That is, we can extend additional features also. Now the most important thing is interpreted. Interpreted. What do you mean by interpreted? Anyone know the idea? Simple thing. Remember two things. One is compiler, second one is interpreter. So the difference is, generally compiler or interpreter, the only purpose is, before starting of this session I said one thing, user understands only high level language. That is the reason the Python is high level programming language, only high level language. Computer understands only machine level language. Suppose if our Prime Minister give a speech on Hindi, right? Generally, we don't know Hindi language. I think you know that one. One person, that is a translator, is present. He converts the Hindi language into Telugu. Assume Hindi language into Telugu. He is called translator. Now, how he translate? Anyone have an idea?
Line to line.
Exactly. Two ways of translation. One way of translation is, suppose my speech is 10 minutes. After completion of my entire 10 minutes of speech, I will convert into Telugu. First thing is, my speech is completed. After completion of entire 10 minutes of speech, entire Hindi is converted into Telugu. What is another way? Instead of all the 10 minutes, the first line is completed, converted to Telugu. Second line is completed, converted to Telugu. Exactly, the compiler is, entire program is converted into machine language at a time. The entire program is converted at a time. Okay, but coming to interpreter, it converts line by line. Then what is the difference? How you observe the difference? I think you have an idea, but I will explain. See this one. For example, your program is 10 lines. Assume you have an error at line number 5. Error at line number 9 also. Line number 5 and line number 9, you have 2 errors. If you are performing compilation, that is, you are using compiler, It shows the two errors. Error at line number 5, error at line number 7. All the errors are displayed by use the compiler. Suppose coming to interpreter, it shows only error at line number 5. That is, 1 is executed, no problem. 2, 3, 4 are executed, no problem. For example, at the time of conversion line number 5, it faces some error. Simply it stops. After resolving the error, then only we are moving into the next line. You got it? So then what is the advantage? What is the advantage? In the sense, it is very easy. Compared to resolving all the errors at a time, line by line solving is very easy. Then what is the problem? Compared to compiler, it is very slow. It is very slow. Compared to C language, Java execution is fast or slow? Remember, compared to C language, Java execution is slow. C is the faster execution compared to Java. In the similar sense, a Python execution is also slow. Why? Because of interpretation. Because of interpretation, Python execution is also slow. Even though it is slow, but because of remaining features, it will become so popular. Java also. Why it is popular? Even though it is slow in the sense not a millisecond, not in the form of seconds, just a fraction of milliseconds. Okay. All these are features of Python programming. Now, coming to original topics. Okay. So the introduction to Python. Right now, up to now, we have discussed what is the introduction to Python. That is, who developed the Python. What are the features of Python? The basic two terms. Okay. Next, from this, I think based on the topic, you have some idea. From this onwards, the original topics. Remember, the only important factor is once you learn a topic, you have to know the most important thing is the application of the topic. What are the different situations? That is, in which situations we are using that things. For example, first I will explain identifier and I will ask you some questions. See this one. What do you mean by identifier? Almost same to C language. Identifier is any name given to either a variable or a function or a class or anything or an array or a list, string, tuple, set, dictionary, whatever it is. If you are using a name, the name is called identifier. Suppose my name, an identifier, your name is identifier. Each and everything is called an identifier. Now, blindly it is not possible to give the names to identifiers. You have to follow some rules. What are the rules? Remember, an identifier coming to Python and C, both are same. In Java also both are same. Except Pascal. Remaining things are same. An identifier contains three things. What are the three things? Letters. Letters in the sense alphabets, A to Z. Remember, what do you mean by case sensitive? Exactly. Case sensitive in the sense uppercase letters are different from lowercase letters. Capital A. How can you differentiate uppercase letters with lowercase letters? No. I know that one. Caps is small. That is not the thing. In system point of view, how the system knows? Exactly. Each and every alphabet, not only alphabet, each and every character has some ASCII value. ASCII in the sense, remember the full form, American Standard Code. The name specifies standard code. What do you mean by standard code? Standard code in the sense that is fixed. Anyone can use the same code. It is not possible to modify the code. So American Standard Code, last double I in the sense information interchange. What do you mean by information interchange? If I am given capital A, that is converted into 65. 65 is the integer number for capital A. Suppose small a, 97, like this. So alphabets, either lowercase or uppercase are allowed, along with digits 0 to 9. The digits 0 to 9 and the only special symbol. Remember the word, the only special symbol underscore. No dollar, star, exclamatory mark, ampersand, power, whatever it is, simple thing, except underscore, no symbol is allowed. No symbol is allowed. So only three things: alphabets, digits, and underscore. This is the first point. And identifier. Identifier in the sense, actually identifier does not exist. For example, okay, no problem. I will explain. So in the previous one, we discussed a is equal to 5. What is a? We assume that a is a variable. We assume that a is a variable. So variable, how can you give the name of the variable? Based on the rules of the identifier. That means a very simple example, very simple example. For example, your parents give some name to you. At the time of your birth, your parents give some name to you. How they give the name? Any idea? Exactly, they give the name based on the star or based on the timings. Is the timing is your name? No. Is the star is your name? No. So the star, timing are the rules. Are the rules. Based on the rules, they are given the names. So simply identifier is the star. Identifier is the timing. That is identifier set some rules. Anyone can use the rules. Anyone can use the rules. So variable, use the rules. Function name, use the rules. Class name, use the rule. Module name, use the rules. So simply I am defining some fixed. I fixed some set of rules. Suppose if a person born on June 1st, assume generally, if a person born on June 1st, the star is Pushami. Whatever generally I am speaking, the star is Pushami. The name starts with some V. Assume the name starts with some V. So that is called identifier. Okay. Now the first one is completed. Now the most important thing is the second one. Even though it is possible to use, but it does not starts with a digit. What do you mean by this one? Does not starts with a digit. For example, a is equal to 5, that is valid. A is equal to 5, that is valid. 1a is equal to 5. Got my point? A is equal to 5, valid. A1 is equal to 5, that is also valid. Starts with letter followed by digit, that is valid. A underscore 1 is equal to 5, that is valid. Okay. From the next session onwards, I will show you. By the pad, I will write down also, then you will clearly understand. Okay. A underscore 1 is equal to 5, that is also valid. Everything is valid. For example, 1a is equal to 5, that is invalid. Why? Here the variable begins with the digit. If it is begins with the digit, in that case that is considered as an invalid. In that case that is considered as a invalid. Now identifiers are case sensitive. Just now we discussed case sensitive in the sense uppercase letter is different from lowercase letter. Suppose capital A is equal to 5, small a is equal to 6. It's both are same or different? Different. Now we cannot use reserved words as identifier. What do you mean by reserved words? Yes, keywords. What do you mean by keywords? Exactly. Suppose at the time of program development, that is a language development, some words are reserved some for some fixed meaning. One simple example, if we listen the word if followed by condition. So if is used only for checking the condition, while is used for repetition of a loop, for is used for repetition of a loop, print is used for printing the value, right? So all those are reserved words. They are used only for that purpose, only for that fixed meaning. It is not possible to modify the meaning. So the reserved words are not used as a variable name. See this one. Here the point is, understand the point clearly. We cannot use reserved words as identifiers in the sense it is not possible to use reserved words as variables. Reserved words as the functions names, module names, class names, function, whatever it is. Identifier in the sense each and everything comes under identifier. Now this is one of the advantage of Python. Up to now, what we had discussed, the same thing in C language, Java, C++, in all the languages, we have the same thing. But coming to Python, the most advantage is the last point. There is no length limit for Python identifier. What is mean by this length limit? No. Lines is not a condition. You can write any number of lines. That is not a condition. For example, length of identifier. If I am using a variable, a is equal to 5. So a is an identifier. What is the length? 1. Suppose AB is equal to 5. Length is 2. For example, my variable name is ABCDF is equal to 5. That is also a variable. That means the length of the identifier is not fixed. For example, coming to C language, generally we can use only 8 letters. That is, the length is only 8. Depending upon the compiler, that is, depending upon the system, we can take a maximum 16. That is, on the worst case, whatever it is, the length is fixed. You got my point? So again, I'm repeating. See this one. For example, a is equal to 5. Here a is the variable. What is the length of the variable here? 1. AB is equal to 5. That here AB is a single variable or two variables? No, remember AB is the single variable. If I am separating with the comma, then only two variables. AB, single word. AB is equal to 5 in the sense that is a single variable. ABC is equal to 5. That is also single variable. For example, you are using the word total. Total. Total is a single variable which contains the 5. So total count. My variable name is total count. The length is 10. In C language, that length is fixed. We can use only the variable length is 8 characters, but in Python there is no limit on the length, so you can use any length of, that is, total count of my program is equal to 5. The length of a variable, length of a function name, length of a class name, length of the module name is not fixed. You can use anything, but we can use only limited one. Even though we are providing, suppose if you write each and every situation, you have to use the same length identifier. To overcome that problem, simply we are using only variables of short length. These are the reservoirs. Keywords are reservoirs. These are the reservoirs. Okay. Some words are reserved to represent some meaning. That is, some words are reserved for some functionality. Okay. Remember, in Python, we have total 33 keywords, 33 reservoirs. Okay. All the reservoirs in Python contains only alphabets. That is, no digits, no underscore, no special symbols. Only the letters A to Z are allowed, except these three. So here I am showing only three. Except these three, all contains lowercase letters. Suppose you know this one. If is in small letters, while is in small letter, for is in small letter. Except these three, every keyword is in lowercase letters. And coming to these three, actually these three are also not in uppercase. Only the first two letter is uppercase. Observe the thing. The minute thing is also very important. Under true, T is a capital letter. Under false, F is the capital letter. None. What do you mean by none? You are not initializing any value, that is called as none. If you are not giving any value, that is called none. Okay. Now, what are the keywords? No need to remember this one. Import keyword. By using this statement, it will display all the keywords. Okay. So I will show you the execution in the tomorrow session. So in the tomorrow session, I will bring my laptop, and the laptop will inbuilt contains all the Jupyter notebooks and the basic IDLE. Parallelly, I will show you the execution. Okay. So remember this one. What is the remaining thing? Tomorrow we will show this one. If I forgot, we have to remember. No. Data types. I think any fast up to now it is okay or anything. Remember, at any point of time, if you have any doubt, please ask. That is not a problem. Here, the entire thing is like interpreter, not compiler. You got the meaning? Yes. Reserved words in the sense, for example, so you know C language? Yes. How do you check the if condition? How do you check whether A and B two numbers? How to check whether two numbers under A is large or B is the largest among two numbers? Exactly. If A greater than B, printf A is large, else printf B is large. So if, how can you know that we have to use only if? How do you know that we have to use only else? How? Generally. No. That my thing is not depending on condition. Your answer is how do you perform the if condition or else condition? That is not my intention. My intention is simply why you are using only if keyword. Here you are using while also, but exactly if is a predefined. Exactly if is a predefined, it has some meaning. So if is used only for this purpose, else is used only for this purpose, while is used only for this purpose. Suppose in C language, int a is equal to 5. Here, what do you mean by int? Why you are writing int? Int is a data type. It specifies that a can store only integer values. Float b stores only floating values. Char c stores only character values. That means all these things are predefined, right? All these things are predefined. That is called reservoirs. The words which are predefined, and those are used only for that purpose only. Other than that purpose, suppose in place of if you are using while, what happens? I think the program is wrong. You have to use if in place of if only. While and while, for. And at the same time, what is the one more thing? Int a is equal to 5, right? Suppose instead of a, if I am writing the statement int if is equal to 5, what happens? Why it is an error? If is used only for that purpose only. If is not used as an identifier. That is, if is not used as a variable, if is not used as a class name, not used as a function name, reserved words are not used as identifier. They have only some fixed meaning. That is called reserved words. I think you got it? No. Okay. No problem. For this session only, I think you have some confusion. By moving on, at least to follow 2 to 3 sessions. At least 2 to 3 sessions. After completion of 2 to 3 sessions, we have come to one conclusion. What we are going to discuss. Actually, generally, in every subject, the first 2 or 3 sessions are the very basic terms. Very basic terms. Now, so what is the important topic up to now? The important topic is identifier and keywords. Only the two things are identifiers and keywords. These are the two most important things. Now, coming to data types also. So for today's session, I will explain the data types in brief. Tomorrow's session, I will explain again the data types with execution. The same data type, each and every data type with execution. First, briefly, I will move in the theoretical fashion. So what do you mean by data type? The name specifies data type. Data type in the sense the type of data that is stored in a variable. A is equal to 5. Now A is integer data type. A is equal to hello. A is a string data type. That means data type. How can we set that A is an integer? How can you fix that B is a floating value? How can you fix that X is a string? Based on the type of value that we are storing, right? That is called data type. See this one, data type represents the type of data present in a variable. The type of data present in a variable. And what is the future of Python? Dynamically typed. What do you mean by dynamically typed? No need to declare. Whenever we require, simply you can use. Whenever you require, simply you can use. So in Python, we are not required to specify the type explicitly. We are not required to specify the type explicitly. Explicitly in the sense, you have to write exactly int a, float b. So no need to write this one. Simply a is equal to a corresponding value. See this one? Python is a dynamically typed language. We can use int data type. Generally, integer in the sense whole numbers. Integers in the sense of whole numbers. See this one? A is equal to 5. This is my example. Now, we have a predefined function type type, that is a predefined function. So inside the function, if you are writing the variable name, it gives the type of the variable. So see this example, type of A. So A stores which type of value? Integer value. So the output is integer. Suppose A is equal to 5.3. If you are writing type of A is equal to float. Okay. So what is the, remember, this is the one important function. So one important function is type of. Type of specifies the type of variable that is stored. What type of information we are storing, that is given type. Now, first we will move to integer values. I think everyone know this one. Generally, by default, which number format we are using? These are the different types. Here I am writing 4. These are the 4 different types of integer values. Remember, this is not an introduction. This is the main thing in Python. Remember, this is the main thing in Python. Once you have to do the projects, these are the compulsory part. Okay. So coming to integer, these are the 4: decimal, binary, octal, and hexadecimal number. By default, we are using which type? Among these 4, we are using decimal. Generally, decimal in the sense, you know that one, dec in the sense, dec values 10, dec in the sense 10, oct 8, hexadecimal,
6.
hex means 6, decimal means 10, 6 plus 10, hexadecimal in the sense 16, binary in the sense 2, binary in the sense 2. Yes, exactly. Okay. Now, so in the decimal form, for example, you divide any number with 10. Any number with 10. What are the possible reminders? Any number. For example, number 21. 21 is divided with 10. What is the remainder? Only integer division. 10 to just 20. Remainder is 1. Divide 32. Remainder 2. Divide 43. You can divide any number. The possible reminders are from 0 to 9 only. Yes or no? 100%. If it is a decimal number in the sense, total we have 10 numbers. Total we have 10 numbers. So starting from 0, 10 numbers in the sense ends at 9. So how can this is possible? If you are dividing any number with 10, the possible reminders is called the range. So the allowed digits are 0 to 9. Example, see the example, A is equal to 10. Now the next one is the binary. Binary in the sense base is 2. If any number, divide any number, what are the 2 possible reminders? No need to forget. So binary in the sense binary in the sense only 2. No need to remember this one. Here my thing is binary in the sense 2. What are the possible values? Suppose I am given a base 17. I am given a base not 17, a base 9. What are the possible values? I am given a base 9. What are the possible values? The possible values are from 0 to 8 only. If you are dividing any number with a 9, 0 to 8 is the only possible remainder. For example, if my number is 5, divide 5 with 2, the remainder is 1. My number is 4, divide 4 with 2, the remainder is 0. You can divide any number with 2. The possible reminders are 0 and 1 only. The possible reminders are 0 and 1 only, right? So, consider the example. First, forget 0b. So ignore 0b. So what are the values? I will explain that 0b later. What are the values? So 1111, that is a value. 101, that is a value. And the second one, 0b123. Is it right or wrong? Here all are not all are valid. Here some are invalid also. A is equal to yes. So remember, this is not the case of all are valid. Here in these examples, we contains both valid and invalid also. We have to identify. So first to ignore 0b, only 4 ones it is valid. Only 4 ones it is valid. So the next one is 1, 2, 3 it is valid. Invalid. Why? Because it must and should the number contains zeros and ones. It is invalid. The last one, 111, it is valid. Only one. So Suppose if the next one 101 valid. Now what is the prefix? If anything is written before a number, that is called prefix. After is called suffix. So a binary number generally prefixed with 0b. So for easy recognition, suppose ignore binary number. I will move to later. Coming to octal, then you get the difference. What is the octal? Base 8. What are the possible reminders? 0 to base 8. Octal in the sense base 8, 0 to 7. Now my simple question is A is equal to 5. Suppose 5 is in the range from 0 to 9, right? 5 is in 0 to 9. So 5 is which type of number? Understand the question carefully. I have only 4 types of decimal numbers. So 4 types of numbers. Ignore the binary. Only 3. Decimal number, octal number, hexadecimal number. Ignore the hexa also. First I have only 2 numbers. Decimal. What is mean by decimal? Any number in the range 0 to 9. If any digit in the range 0 to 9, that is called decimal number. If anything in the range 0 to 7, it is called octal number. Suppose A is equal to 5. Now 5 is octal number or decimal number? Ignore that one. Ignore that one. A is octal or decimal? How can you say that one? It ranges between 0 to 7. Exactly. The 5 is in the range of 0 to 9 also. Then it is a possible of decimal number also. Though actually there is no octadecimal number. That is your new invention. So then what is? You got the point? So actually there is a conflict. Suppose coming to hexadecimal. Hexadecimal in the sense the base is 16. Base is 16 in the sense 0 to 15. Actually if you are writing 0 to 15, suppose 15. 15 in the sense 1 5. Again 1 becomes decimal, 5 is also decimal. That is the reason 0 to 9 decimal digits are used. 10 to 15 are represented as A, B, C, D, F. You got my point? So no problem, ignore that one. For example, A is equal to 5. Now 5 is in the range 0 to 9. 5 is in the range 0 to 7. 5 is in the range 0 to 15 also. Battery is low. Okay. So 5 is in the range 0 to 9, 5 is in the range 0 to 7, 5 is in the range 0 to F. Now 5 belongs to decimal, 5 belongs to octal, 5 belongs to hexadecimal. To overcome that conflict, by default, every number is a decimal number. By default, that means A is equal to 5. Which type of number? Decimal number. If any number prefixed with, see this one, 0O. Observe, that is called 0O. Either O is a capital O or small o, no problem. If any number prefixed with 0O, that is called octal number. Suppose see this one 0O123. 0O123, that is called octal number. Suppose A is equal to 0O5, that is called octal number. Now A is equal to 0O786, that is called octal number, right? Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
No, sir.
No, we have a digit 8. Remember, each and every digit must be between 0 to 7. Each and every digit must be 0 to 7. So even though it is prefixed with 0, that is not an octal number. Every digit must and should be within the range. Must and should within the range. In the same fashion, so hexadecimal number 0 to 9, and then lower and uppercase, that is capital A to capital F or small a to small f. Why you are using capital A to capital F? In the sense, for example, A is equal to some 10. So actually 10 in the sense are prefixed with, suppose octal number is, remember this one, octal number is prefixed with, your mouse is up here, 0 O. Similarly, hexadecimal is prefixed with, instead of O, X, that is X, either capital X or small x. Suppose if my number is a is equal to 0x15, actually that is not possible. 0x15 is not possible. Okay, even though 15 appears, that is not in the form of decimal. Simply, I will explain. See this one. Here I have an example, FACE. What is the meaning of this one? F value is 15 in decimal. A value is 10 in decimal. C value is some 12 in decimal. E value is 14 in decimal. For example, if my value is 14, how can you represent as 14? If you are writing 0x14, system it does not consider as a 14. System consider as 14. Remember the thing. System consider as 14. So anything, suppose if 0x14, system it does not consider as a 14. How can you say that? Remember, everything is converted into which format? No. Exactly, everything is converted into binary format. System convert 14 as 1 is converted into 0001, 4 is converted into 0100. So 1 is a separate number, 4 is a separate number. It does not consider as a 14. If it considers as a 14, the format is so what is the 14 number? 1 1. For example, anything from 15 1 1 1 1 1 like this. So that is the reason. So all the numbers A to F, that is 10 to 15, are represented in the form of A to F. Remember, in the tomorrow session, I will show you execution of each and everything. This one also. So along with 0O, 0x, for easy identification, binary numbers is also prefixed with 0B. Got my point?
Hexadecimal alphabets A to F.
A to F are very simple. Hexadecimal, what is the possible values? 1, 0 to 0 to 15. We know 0 to 9 has the digits. What is the next number? 10. So 10 is represented starting from alphabets. 10 is represented as A, 11 is represented as B, 12 is C, next 13 D, 14 E, 15 F. Close. That is the reason only A to F. Actually, we are not doing anything. Everything is done by the system. Actually, what we discussed, this is not implemented by us. This is implemented by language developers. Remember, this is not only for Python. What we discussed, this is not only for Python. For each and every programming language, for each and every situation, that is the thing. For example, if up to now this is base 16. Base 16, the range is from 0 to 9 and then A to F. For example, if it is base 17, what are the possible values?
0 to 9.
Exactly. Remember, depends on the base value. From 0 to 9 is fixed, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, and so on are represented by using the alphabets. Here, everything is predefined. No need to do anything. These are the decimal numbers. These are the decimal numbers, right? Now, these are the base conversions. What do you mean by this base conversions? For this, you need execution and examples also. Simple thing, based on this one, what do you mean by conversion? Converting one into another. So bin of, the name specifies any base, that is anything is converted into binary. Octa, anything is converted into octal. Hexa, anything is converted into hexadecimal number. Remember, the only one important thing is each and every function you have to remember. Compulsory. So whenever there is a situation to perform operation on octal numbers, blindly no need to do all that. Simply perform oct of that number. It automatically converts into octal format. So remember, the function remember is the most important thing. Once you remember the function, it is very easy to solve the problems. These are the type conversions. Okay. Now the data types is not at all completed. I think for today's session we will close.